For true creepy horror stories retold. Story 1, The Deceptive Backyard Party. In the summer of her 21st year, Emma swiped right on a charming profile belonging to a man named Daniel on a dating app. His messages were witty, his photos youthful, and when he invited her to a backyard party at his place, she agreed, excited for a casual evening. She drove to his address, a quiet suburban house with a neatly trimmed lawn, expecting the hum of a lively gathering. But as she parked, the street was eerily silent, no music, no chatter, just the faint buzz of cicadas. Daniel greeted her at the door, but the man before her was a stark contrast to his profile. His face was weathered, easily a decade older than his claimed 28 years, and his breath carried the sharp tang of whiskey. Emma's stomach tightened, but she brushed it off, chalking it up to nerves. He flashed a grin and ushered her inside, locking the door with a deliberate click that made her pulse quicken. "Let me give you the grand tour," he said, his tone overly enthusiastic. She hesitated, glancing toward the empty living room, no signs of a party, no plates, no cooler, just a stale air of solitude. The tour dragged on, Daniel's chatter growing more erratic as he led her through dimly lit rooms. Emma's unease deepened when he insisted on showing her the basement. The stairs creaked underfoot, and the air grew damp and heavy. In the corner, she noticed a cold storage door, its handle gleaming under a single bulb. "What's in there?" she asked, her voice betraying a tremor. Daniel's smile faltered. "Just storage," he muttered, but Emma's eyes caught the lock, it only opened from the outside. Her heart pounded as the implications sank in. Upstairs, Daniel's demeanor shifted. He blocked the hallway, his eyes glinting with agitation when she mentioned leaving. "We're just getting started," he said, stepping closer. Emma's mind raced. She forced a smile, suggesting they grab drinks from a nearby liquor store to keep the party going. To her relief, he agreed, and they drove in his car, her hands trembling as she clutched her phone. At the store, she lingered by the coolers, scanning for an escape. Daniel hovered outside, his silhouette looming through the glass. Emma spotted a group of college students at the checkout, their laughter a stark contrast to her dread. She approached them, whispering her situation, and they nodded, surrounding her as they exited. On the sidewalk, Daniel stepped forward, but Emma raised her voice, "Leave me alone, Daniel." The group's presence emboldened her, and the students glared at him. His face twisted, but he backed off, muttering under his breath as he retreated to his car. Emma's legs shook as she walked away with the group, their casual banter grounding her as she processed her narrow escape. Later, alone in her apartment, she deleted the app, vowing to trust her instincts and urging others to vet strangers carefully. The memory of that cold storage door lingered, a chilling reminder of what might have been. Story 2, The Obsessive Schoolmate. As a junior in high school, Lily noticed a quiet sophomore named Ethan in her art class. His shy demeanor seemed harmless, and when he asked for help with a project, she obliged, thinking little of it. Their conversations grew frequent, but Ethan's interest soon crossed into obsession. He'd linger after class, bombarding her with personal questions, his eyes intense and unblinking. Lily, polite but uneasy, began dodging him, but Ethan was relentless. One evening, Lily's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number, Ethan, claiming he'd found her contact through a mutual friend. Then came the letters, slipped into her locker, filled with unsettling declarations of devotion. Worse, he'd uncovered her home address, sending her into a panic when she spotted his bike circling her street one dusk. Confronting him at school, she demanded he stop, but Ethan twisted her words, accusing her of leading him on. His texts grew erratic, veering into rants about violent fantasies and misogynistic tirades, sparked by trivial slights like her ignoring his calls. Lily's patience snapped when Ethan cornered her in the library, his voice low and menacing as he berated her for ignoring him. She pushed past, her heart racing, and reported him to the school counselor that afternoon. The administration acted swiftly, suspending Ethan and notifying his parents. Lily blocked his number, but not before sending a final message, "Stay away," or I'll press charges." Her warning seemed to work. Ethan's presence vanished from her life, but the experience left her wary. She shared her story with friends, urging them to set firm boundaries and report harassment early. The weight of Ethan's obsession lingered, a stark lesson in recognizing red flags. Story 3, The Unseen Observer. During a weekend getaway, 16-year-old Mia and her father checked into a coastal hotel, its balconies overlooking a sparkling pool. As Mia lounged by the water, she noticed a man on a third-floor balcony, his gaze fixed on her. His stillness unnerved her, sunglasses hiding his eyes, hands gripping the railing. She nudged her dad, who squinted upward and frowned. "Probably just people watching," he said, but his tone lacked conviction. Mia couldn't shake the feeling of being studied. That night, as they settled into their room, Mia heard faint scratches outside their door, like footsteps on gravel. She froze, straining to listen, but the sound stopped. Peering through the peephole, she saw nothing but the empty hallway. Her dad, half asleep, dismissed it as the wind, but Mia barely slept, her mind replaying the man's stare. At dawn, she checked the parking lot from their window. The car parked beneath the man's balcony was gone, its absence both a relief and a mystery. Her dad reported the incident to hotel staff, who found no record of the guest. Mia left the trip rattled, the memory of those unseen eyes haunting her. She vowed to stay vigilant in unfamiliar places, a lesson etched in unease. Story 4, The Nighttime Intruder. When Sarah's sister jetted off for a week-long work trip, Sarah volunteered to house-sit her cozy bungalow nestled in a quiet neighborhood. The first few nights passed uneventfully. Sarah lounged on the couch, binge-watching her favorite series, the hum of the refrigerator and occasional chirp of crickets the only sounds breaking the silence. The house felt like a safe haven, its warm lights and familiar creaks lulling her into a sense of ease. She watered the plants, fed the cat, and settled into a routine, unaware of the danger creeping closer. On the fourth night, a storm rolled in, the wind howling and rain pelting the windows. Sarah was jolted awake by a muffled thud from the direction of the kitchen. Her heart gave a quick lurch, but she rationalized it as a branch knocked loose by the gale. She lay still, straining to listen, her eyes adjusting to the dim glow of her phone on the nightstand. Just as she began to relax, another sound pierced the quiet, a sharp, metallic scrape, deliberate and close. Her pulse surged. This was no storm. Clutching her phone, Sarah slipped out of bed, her bare feet cold against the hardwood floor. She tiptoed toward the kitchen, her breath shallow, every shadow seeming to pulse with menace. Through the glass panel of the back door, she caught a glimpse of movement, a figure, their face hidden beneath a dark hood, fumbling with the lock. The handle rattled, the sound grating against her nerves. Sarah's fingers trembled as she dialed 911, whispering her address to the operator, her voice barely audible over the pounding in her chest. Retreating to the bedroom, she locked the door and crouched by the bed, phone pressed to her ear. The operator's calm instructions anchored her, but a new noise shattered her fragile composure, a creak from above, followed by a faint scratching. Her eyes darted to the skylight window in the ceiling, where the same hooded figure now loomed, their silhouette stark against the storm's fleeting lightning. They pried at the frame, the glass shuddering under their efforts. Sarah's stomach churned, the realization hitting her that they'd climbed onto the roof, undeterred by the locked door below. She stifled a gasp, relaying the update to the operator, who assured her police were minutes away. The intruder's movements grew frantic, the skylight groaning but holding firm. Sarah's grip on the phone tightened, her mind racing through worst-case scenarios. Then, a flash of light cut through the darkness, headlights flooding the street as police sirens wailed. The figure froze, then scrambled across the roof, their footsteps fading into the storm. Sarah's breath hitched as she heard car doors slam and officers shouting commands. The police swept the property, their flashlights slicing through the rain, but the intruder had vanished. A search of the yard revealed scuff marks on the gutter where they'd climbed, but no other clues. Neighbors, roused by the commotion, claimed they'd seen nothing unusual, their houses dark during the storm. The officers concluded it was likely a crime of opportunity, the intruder targeting a home they thought was empty. Sarah, shaken but unharmed, packed a bag and stayed with a friend until her sister returned, unable to sleep in the bungalow alone. The incident left her hypervigilant, her evenings now filled with double-checking locks and scanning windows for shadows. She shared her story with family, urging them to secure their homes and trust their instincts at the first sign of trouble. The image of that hooded figure against the skylight haunted her, a stark reminder of how quickly safety could unravel in the dead of night.